The film opens with a group of 5 young adventurers preparing for a trek into a dense, uncharted forest located in the Pacific Northwest. The leader of the group, Ethan, is a history graduate fascinated with old maps and forgotten trails. He recently acquired a crumbling, hand-drawn map from the 18th century, discovered in the archives of a local museum. The map shows a forested area with locations that no modern satellite images or GPS systems can identify. Ethan, eager to prove the map's authenticity, convinces his friends to join him on this journey. The group is diverse. Ethan, determined, intellectual, yet a bit obsessive. Lena, a nature enthusiast and Ethan's supportive but skeptical girlfriend. Ryan, a cynical journalist hoping to write an expose on the journey. Tasha, a thrill-seeker with an adventurous spirit. Alex, the cautious but loyal member of the group who harbors a fear of the supernatural. The group enters the forest with a mix of excitement and trepidation. As they delve deeper, they notice an eerie silence. No birds, no rustling leaves, only their footsteps crunching on the underbrush. The air feels thick, oppressive. Ethan tries to match their path to the map's markings, but the landmarks don't make sense. A stream drawn on the map is dry, and an ancient tree marked as a waypoint has toppled into decay centuries ago. The tension rises when they stumble upon a clearing where the first marked location, the Whispering Stones, is supposed to be. There are no stones, only a strange circle of withered grass. As they stand in the clearing, the wind picks up, carrying faint whispers. Ryan jokes that it's just the wind, but Lena and Alex are visibly uneasy. That night, they camp near the clearing. Ethan pores over the map obsessively, insisting they are on the right track. Meanwhile, the others start hearing strange noises. Faint footsteps circling their camp and low murmurs in the distance. When Alex investigates, he finds nothing but swaying shadows. The unease grows, but Ethan dismisses it as paranoia. This is history in the making, he says. We can't turn back now. The strangeness grows, shadows of the past. As they push deeper into the forest, the terrain becomes more treacherous. The trees seem to close in on them, their gnarled branches forming twisted patterns against the gray sky. The group starts noticing inconsistencies. Paths they've already taken seem to loop back on themselves, but the landmarks from the map begin to appear in bizarre ways. The group encounters the bleeding oak, a massive, ancient tree whose bark oozes a dark red sap. Ethan is ecstatic, confirming its location on the map. But as they linger, Lena spots faint carvings on the trunk, names etched into the wood, some of which are centuries old. One name is freshly carved, Ryan. Ryan, unnerved, accuses Ethan of orchestrating the entire thing, but Ethan denies it. As tempers flare, the whispers return, louder this time, seeming to come from the forest itself. Ryan decides to mark their path with tape, hoping to avoid the looping trails. But when they attempt to leave the area, the tape circles back to the bleeding oak. We're being watched, Alex says in a shaky voice. That night, the group begins to break. Tasha wakes up screaming, claiming she saw a shadowy figure standing just outside the camp. Ethan discovers new markings on the map, ones that weren't there before. The Phantom Bridge, drawn in spidery ink that seems to glisten when touched. Desperate to make sense of the map, Ethan insists they press on, despite the growing unease. The Phantom Bridge is nothing more than a decayed, moss-covered wooden structure stretching over a misty chasm. As they cross, the planks creak ominously. Halfway across, Lena freezes. She points to figures standing in the mist below, a silent crowd of shadowy shapes staring up at them. Ethan doesn't see them and insists it's her imagination, but the others are too terrified to argue. As they make it to the other side, Ryan notices his camera, which he had been using to document the trip, now contains blurry, distorted images. One image shows the group walking through the forest, but in the photo, there is a sixth person among them, a figure with hollow eyes and a twisted grin. The group's cohesion begins to unravel. Alex begs to leave, but Ethan refuses, claiming they're close to the map's final location, marked as the return. Tasha becomes withdrawn, mumbling about voices in the trees. Meanwhile, Lena tries to convince Ethan to abandon the journey, but his obsession blinds him. He argues that turning back now will leave them trapped forever. As they continue, they come across a decrepit cabin, not marked on the map. Inside, they find relics from different time periods: a Victorian doll, a blood-stained handkerchief, and a modern backpack. Scrawled across the walls in various languages are phrases like "no way out" and "they see you." The group's flashlights flicker, and the cabin plunges into darkness. In the chaos, Tasha disappears. When they find her hours later, she is sitting in the woods, humming a strange tune and clutching a fragment of the map that Ethan swears wasn't there before. The map leads them to the Return, a desolate clearing where time seems to stand still. The group finds themselves at the center of an ancient stone circle, identical to the one at the beginning of their journey. Ethan realizes too late that the map wasn't guiding them to safety. It was leading them in a trap. The forest begins to shift around them. Trees twist and warp, their roots forming grotesque shapes. The whispers grow deafening, and shadowy figures emerge from the darkness. These figures are not human. Their faces are hollow, their movements jerky and unnatural. One by one, the group succumbs to the forest. Ryan, panicked, tries to run but vanishes into the trees. Tasha follows the shadowy figures willingly, a serene smile on her face. Alex clings to Lena, but the ground beneath him splits open, dragging him into the earth. Ethan and Lena are the last ones standing. Ethan, clutching the map, finally realizes its true nature. It was never a guide to hidden treasures but a lure, created by something ancient and malevolent to draw victims into the forest. Lena pleads with Ethan to burn the map, but he hesitates, overcome by the allure of solving its mystery. The shadowy figures close in, their whispers now forming words: "Stay. Join us." In a desperate act, Lena grabs the map and sets it ablaze. The forest erupts into chaos, the shadows screaming as if in pain. Ethan, however, is drawn to the flames, his face illuminated with a mix of terror and awe. As the fire consumes the map, he collapses, whispering, "It's not over." The film ends with Lena alone in the clearing. The forest is silent, the shadows gone. She staggers out of the woods, only to discover that the world outside has changed. Her town is now abandoned, and the people she knew are gone, as if she stepped into another time. Clutching a charred fragment of the map, she hears faint whispers behind her. "Welcome back."